Good afternoon. So here we are again. Oh, daytime. It's a treat, isn't it? The sun again. So we started with a pyramid stone like 2 or 3 nights ago. That's 3 days ago. And it's been raining ever since. So it's had a bit of water damage, as you can see. But this is 2.5 meters. 2.5. 1.5. 1 wide. 2.3 million of these stones. So how? How? With copper hand tools, with 2.3 million of these carved out of a quarry. So if this is flush in a wall, in a quarry wall, how on earth they cut down, 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 and then cut in, and then cut behind to then pull it out? How on earth would the Egyptians have managed that? So many of you just saying, oh, they've been doing it for years. We know how. There's so many theories that have come out. Absolute rubbish. It's the same as it always is. Everybody just presumes. Everybody just presumes that everybody else knows how they did it, but nobody actually knows how they did it. It's a fact. There is no way. We couldn't even do it now. You could send any 100 men, the strongest men on this planet, with as many copper hand tools as you wanted, with as many ropes as you wanted, and wooden sleds, and they would get nowhere with even one stone. It's a fact, right? So again, why does everybody believe that everything is so easy? Right? Why does everybody believe this descent from 367,000 feet in a vacuum, that it's not even worth talking about? It's insane. The pyramids, and this is only Giza we're talking about here, right? Remember, 30 years. If Giza was built over 30 years, what was it? It came down to 570 something tons in a day, wasn't it? It was about 24 tons every single hour. 24 tons every single hour getting added to that structure. But then don't forget that they would have had to pump these stones out from somewhere at 24 tons per hour. It's not just a case of getting them up onto the pyramid. Where did they come from this fast? Whoosh. And this is just one pyramid, right? So, how? Copper hand tools. These would be as good as any copper hand tools. These would be better than any copper hand tools, wouldn't they? So, how do you get in? How do you get in? How do you get behind? Not just once, though. 2.3 million times. And then there's some that weigh 60 tons. Have you seen the inside of the pyramids? The wells that go deep down, and the long tunnels and stones that weigh tons. And people so naive, right? You have to say thick, right? To actually believe that the Egyptians did this 4,500 years ago using nothing but copper tools, copper hand tools. It's insane. This is exactly the same as everybody thinking that, you know, everybody worked out the speed of light. Loads of people in 1600s, 1700s. No, they didn't. You think they did, but when you actually face the problem like this, here now with your copper hand tools in your hand, how would I have dug this out? How would 20 of us have dug this out of a quarry wall? How? How would we transport them to the boats? 65 Nimitz class aircraft carriers, 6.5 million tons. Can you imagine an aircraft carrier having to load the other 64 and transport them somewhere? An aircraft carrier, how many trips would that take for one aircraft carrier weighing 100,000 tons to shift another 64 aircraft carriers? Nobody's thinking about the basic problems. It's so easy to work out that it wasn't done. It's just, and all of those people and researchers and theoreticians and whatever have you with their PhDs that have got all of these theories on how the Egyptians built the pyramids and how they lifted the bricks and how they, all of this done without a single clue of how the Egyptians dug the stones out of the quarry, how they transported them. In fact, it's not even a case of how they transported them. If you don't have a solution for the first question on how were they cut out of a quarry, you don't have anything after it. It's just ridiculous, because you're obviously barking up the wrong tree. It's common sense. But as we know, common sense doesn't go too far nowadays, does it? And your moon landing, I know some of you are starting to think about it now, right? 367,000 feet, 10 times the altitude of passenger planes. 10 times the altitude of where passenger planes cruise at. 5,600 k's an hour. That's 7.2 times the speed of a passenger plane. How? How would the Eagle slow down in a complete vacuum, right? Why is there no explanation? Why is it that all of the Apollo missions have the descent missing? It's right there in front of everybody, because that smoke's going over the neighbour's fence. It's not good. How on earth have people accepted this stuff? Right? Without that explanation. And it's been overlooked. It's only when you go through these things with a fine-tooth comb that you find things like this. And there's more. There's more. But seriously, Apollo 11, 12, 13, well, we won't say 13, that was the perfect bluff so that everything else didn't look like it come across perfect. 11, 12, 14, 15, 16 and 17. There is no explanation for the descent. And 15, 16 and 17 had moon buggies aboard. Listen, if you don't get an explanation for the best part of the movie, the most exciting part of the book, it's the bit that you don't go back to work in the afternoon for, because you want to stay at the cinema and watch that descent, don't you? As it slows itself down from 7.2 times the speed of a passenger plane and drops from an altitude of 10 times. No, they did it. They did it. Not that hard. Retro rocket. Retro rocket. Retro rocket? Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Of course it was done. Delusional. So when these problems arise, the only way you know if they happened is if you put yourself in the first person and you're objective. You can't be biased, right? Just because somebody's told you something, it doesn't mean it's true. There has to come a time when common sense kicks in. Measuring the speed of light from the sun, you can't measure the speed of light from the sun. You can't. It's absolute. It's just on. There's no travel time. If it went off right now, it would go dark and cold. And then if it came back on, it would be on again in an instant, like a bulb lighting a room up. It's common sense. If I had a guy next to me right now, right, that's that stick, and he was looking with a telescope, do you honestly think he's going to see the sun over there? Because it's 8 minutes and 20 seconds. It's ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous is what it is. The three things staring at everybody in the face. The three. You can't measure the speed of light coming off of that. You don't descend from 10 times the altitude of a passenger plane and slow down from 5,600 k's an hour in a complete vacuum and then not have a write-up about how it went down. Right? You don't go from 112 kilometers down to 1 kilometer and then just pretend the rest of it didn't happen, because it's a gimme. It's not a game of golf, is it? And what was the other one? Obviously, 2.5 ton pyramid stone. Copper hand tools. Copper hand tools? 2.5 tons. Come on, Billy, over here. I'll get the front, and you shimmy the back. It's insane. People, they didn't go to the moon because it's too difficult. It's a bridge too far. But they've made everybody think that it's not even worth talking about the descent. It's a gimme. No. Half of the people that keep saying, nah, it was easy. They've been doing it for years. Nah, it's easy. That's easy. Anybody can do that. I bet you don't even know how to change a car tyre. You think you do, right? But then, when it happens, I bet half of people don't even know where to find the jack to take the tyre off, to pump the car up, take the tyre off. That is the reality. They've made everyone think that everything is a breeze. It is not, right? So, there it is. To scale. Scale. This is the pyramid stones that are at the base of the pyramid. They're not all this big. All of the ones at the bottom are. So we had some serious weather, so that's why. So there's your pyramid stone. Bit of water on the stand, and then off we go. 2 of us at the back pushing and 1 at the front, just in case we go too far so he can slow us down. It's ridiculous. Have a great day, peeps.